Hi everyone, we're here at PNSQC 2015 with Scott Poole. So programming and poetry.
Yeah.
How did you get those together?
Well, the poetry started before the programming.
Ah.
I started writing poetry to get dates. I started writing.
Did it work?
I started writing code to make money, which got me more dates.
Funny.
It's a good combination.
Do you leave poems in your comments when you write code? For your fellow
No,
developers?
I try to write bad jokes.
Cool.
So, yeah, I think don't try to put your literary career in your comments in your code. I think that's
Good
a bad
advice.
idea.
Good advice. So you're gonna be giving a talk tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Tell us a little bit about that. I think the talk is called "They're Not So Different as You Think," right? Poetry
Yes.
and programming.
One just makes a lot more money. So.
Which one is question mark?
Well, I have a joke for you. No, I'll save the joke for the talk
Okay, yeah.
because I got to start with a joke, right? This is my first software conference I've ever talked at, or my first time I've used a PowerPoint and read poetry at the same time. So pretty excited to kind of mix it up for me and read some poems and talk about how I think about programming a lot of the same ways I think about poetry. And to me, they're both creative acts that you can kind of lose yourself in, and hours can go by, and you can kind of live in your imagination for a little while. Poetry is not all about the things we often think of poetry as, like rhyming, for instance, like one of the main things. One of the main things of poetry is actually logic, which fits right in with programming. So I was kind of going to talk about that a little bit in the history of poetry. There's the first programmer was the daughter of a famous poet, so that's another thing. So I'll be talking about that.
Little known fact.
Yeah.
And I think you have a poem for us today.
Yeah, just a little intro poem here.
Cool.
This one is called Right at Home. One night I crept into the house while it was asleep, but it woke up. It walked down the street and tossed me onto a neighbor's lawn. It stumbled off drunk, and other houses rose and followed it, and people and cats scattered everywhere. Protests formed, people yelled, cheerleaders threw tomatoes, ferrets ran wild in the streets. The newspaper blathered, buildings couldn't care less. Churches dissolved and fought with concert halls and pool halls. University buildings wouldn't talk to the dorms. The dorms wanted to become whorehouses. The whorehouses left for the desert and shame. Convenience stores ran until they were inconvenient and wouldn't listen to their parent companies. Mansions divided and turned into hundreds of beautiful shacks. No one got laid. It was all asexual as far as the eye could see. A forest demanded its trees back, but when log cabins arrived, it changed its mind by turning yellow. All the mountain lakes were crammed with houses on vacation. No house wanted to be in the city. Porches were left behind. People left sitting on them didn't know which way to look to be seen anymore, and turned sunset red with pride. People tried to sneak back in, but the houses always ran off. They tried to chain houses to the ground, but the chains only dragged the lawns along. People sat on the houses looking for things to eat. Houses ate other houses, great battles raged, and some set their houses on fire, and sticks battled each other to ash. And not long after, the houses were all gone, and people lived in more and more elaborate tents, and soon you couldn't tell the difference between what they wore and what they lived in. And if you saw someone lying on the ground, it was customary to say, "You look right at home."
Scott Poole, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.